Newt gave him credit. McCain gave him credit. I give him credit. It's not the conservatives who are harping at Obama right now. It's the people who want to lose wars. Bathtub Boy's in there. He's trying to figure out, now, how do I, because I'm against these wars, they're Bush wars, and I recognize Obama's speech as half Bush speech.
This war of lies.
How do I go right on supporting him when he has disobeyed me?
This is possible, right? You could oppose the war in Afghanistan and still support the president generally. That's still logically possible?
Yes, of course it's logically possible. I mean, look, you know, even more than supporting the president, right? You and I and the magazine I write for and progressive generally support some sort of vision of the world that's more peaceful and it's more equitable, it's more humane, more sustainable, and they think the president is a good vessel to achieve that world, and they're generally in agreement on those goals. And so, you know, that's basically where the kind of point of contact is. I even think, to be totally honest, the kind of totemic power this phrase "support the president" has on our politics itself is an artifact of the fact that our politics have been very militarized over the last 8 years. It's become this kind of permanent state of war. So we throw that term around when, you know, that's a term that really comes from a state of war, which should be a state of emergency and has become normalcy, and that's part of the fundamental problem.
Who is that whiny little weasel? Is he from some college newspaper?
It's from The Nation.
The Nation?
Hippie.
Katrina Vanden Heuvel's communist rag?
It's Chris Hayes, yep.
Chris Hayes is his name. Comes on with Bathtub Boys. Oh, you know, we're against this, but we still love him. Now, did they do that for Bush? Did they say we're against this, but we still support him? No.
Are we so far removed from the day when people with largely overlapping viewpoints of the world could disagree on a major issue of policy without this kind of reaction, that the media, even the media specializing in covering politics, is still viewing it as, wow, a liberal has disagreed with Obama on fill in the blank, therefore Obama's finished and might as well resign?
Yeah, I think that one of the legacies of the Bush administration in this respect is the fact that there was this kind of fall in line behind the leader attitude taken on the right. Partly, I think that's sort of a function of the way the conservatives view politics. Partly it was a function of this kind of wartime status. And that proved to be a tragic error. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, conservatives and liberals and progressives, that if there had been more conservatives speaking up against the Iraq war, that might have forestalled that disaster.
What disaster? Who is that little weasel to be calling that war a disaster? I suppose he'd rather have Saddam Hussein still there. He doesn't seem to have noticed we won it. Conservatives were speaking up saying support the president. He intends to win. People like Chris Hayes were destroying him. Read my book, How the Left Swift-Voted America. It's what it's all about. And then Bathtub Boy bringing on his usual array of Fair and Balanced, The Nation, and then the Daily Kos.
We're going to keep doing what we're going to keep doing.
And he brings on Marcos from the Daily Kos, and they're all just so upset. I mean, how could Obama read those passages from Bush speeches and make this policy his own?
What does it say that people like Rove essentially get what they want, what they understand, what they love, bombs and blood, and they still can't help themselves? They still have to find something to criticize, and not contextually, but in terms of volume.
To still find room to criticize. Ladies and gentlemen, before this answer comes, let us remember these guys condemned Bush's very feet hitting the floor in the morning. There was nothing. There was nothing they would ever give him credit for.
Well, I mean, I think it shows that these guys are not talking. They're not engaging in good faith.
Marcos Melitsas of the Daily Kos talks about good faith.
They're not good faith participants in the political process. All they want to do is criticize and delay and obstruct and say no. And whenever they deign to give advice to them...
Wait a minute. Who did General betray us? The right wing or the left wing?
Left wing.
Who attacked Bush for every single thing there was? The right wing or the left wing?
Left wing.
Marcos Melitsas right in the middle of it. Criticize. Nothing but criticize.
Democrats, I think there should be a notice that advice isn't going to be received well. Even if Democrats accepted every bit of quote advice from the Republicans, they would still get criticized. They'd still be accused of being un-American and all that other BS. And so if you're going to be honest about it, move forward and ignore Republicans. They're not good faith actors.
Well, I mean, the not good faith actors in the last war was the left. They were going to criticize, and no matter what. They did. Now they're whining about it. Remember what Mr. Vice President said about Bush's surge?
What happens after we surge these women and men? And by the way, he said General Petraeus is one who believes. He may be the only one who believes this is a good idea. Virtually no one else thinks it's a good idea.
A little uncomfortable around the White House these days as Vice President Biden has to deal with General Petraeus on Afghanistan.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
And Obama himself on Bush's surge.
I am not persuaded that 20,000 additional troops in Iraq is going to solve the sectarian violence there. In fact, I think it'll do the reverse. I think it takes pressure off the Iraqis to arrive at the sort of political accommodation that every observer believes is the ultimate solution.
Every observer but Bush, who wanted to win. Obama, Biden, they just led the way. The left followed. Can I get Kevin in Atlanta in? Kevin.
I can't understand why y'all white folks want to fight and take stuff all the time.
Fight and take stuff. What did you have in mind?
Took the United States from the enemy.
Yeah.
We took the black man from Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, and we over there now trying to take oil and control somebody else's country. You go into somebody else's house trying to tell them what to do.
Are you supporting the president in this effort he's making?
Yeah, I support him. I support him because.
Wonder why?
Because he chose to do that. But I don't do it because y'all white folks said it, and y'all white folks who weren't running this shit.
Okay, here we go.
Untwisting the pretzel logic of American politics.
Politics does terrible things to good people.
John Gibson.